Hi, guys and gals. I'm Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections Curator at the Buffalo Naval Park. And in this video, I'm going to be taking you through a photographic survey of the HS Velos. I'm releasing also two videos, one tonight at 8 p.m. and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as well. You'll find that I wasn't actually able to take film or do videos on board the HS Velos. So I was allowed to take photographs, and that's what I did. And so I'm going to be showing you and describing some of those photographs. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation, and then I'll be, as I said, I'll be describing what you're looking at. Then tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is one video taken pier side, and then tomorrow night at 8 p.m. is also another video taken pier side. So there's a lot that I have to catch up with on our YouTube channel. I still have video with Ken when we visited the Cobia in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, when she was in dry dock, and I have to go through those and get those up, and then also continue with the compartment by compartment tour of the USS Little Rock. So thanks for your continued support. And this is a souvenir that I bought. I'm going to start wearing it around the naval park and kind of confuse people maybe, but it's pretty cool. HS Velos D16, and then they also have the Greek flag over here as well. So I think that's pretty cool, and that's something maybe we should consider on our shirts that we sell, is like putting a little American flag or the US Navy flag or something like that would be pretty cool. So again, I'm going to get to the PowerPoint with all the photographs, and I'll be describing what you're looking at. Okay. So photographic survey, HS Velos, which is located in Thessaloniki, Greece, which is in the northern part of the peninsula, the Greek peninsula. So a little bit about the Velos. It was originally the USS Charette, named for the Medal of Honor recipient, Lieutenant George Charette, for action in the Spanish-American War. She was commissioned on 18 May 1943. So again, when the three American Fletchers did that 80th anniversary, we did include Velos, though we were not able to speak to anyone. She was awarded 13 battle stars in World War II, sold to the Greek Navy in 1959, served until 1991. So where all of our ships go out, the three American Fletchers are out, I believe, at the latest by 1970 for the Cass and Young. The Velos is having a life in service until 91. She then is added as a museum ship in Athens, and then more recently, Thessaloniki, Greece. In 2023, though, she had an interesting nesting position. She was directly facing the Mediterranean, so she wasn't pier side along port or starboard. She was directly protruding off of the pier, which is, I guess, the way you should be nested, because you're always facing into the wind. But there was a high wind event, and actually you can still see some of those waves going on. And so therefore she was bouncing and slamming against the pier, and that tore into her stern, as you can see here. I've done a few videos back there near the transom on the Sullivans. You can find those on our YouTube channel. That's like the repair shop, the ship fitters shop. There was some ammunition stowage back there as well. So you can see that rather large gash. And then they moved her to where she is today, where I went to visit her with my family. So jumping right in, you actually enter the midship quarterdeck, the Cold War quarterdeck on the port side. All right, that's different than the Sullivans where you enter on starboard. But I'm now just looking directly aft as I come on board. This was one of those pieces of equipment that Tim Nesmith from The Kid wanted me to find out more about. You'll see that cart. Either it's a torpedo cart, not very long for a torpedo cart though, but I wasn't able to ask. No one knew what that was either, so maybe they had it in service. So as you'll hear in the video tonight, the people that were working aboard are active military. They're active Navy. There was officers walking aboard and a chief petty officer walking around. And so this is part of their service. They have to do, I believe it's 9 to 12 months of active duty as a citizen of Greece. So what you're looking at here is, again, you're facing aft. I'm sorry, you're facing forward. I said aft before. You're facing forward. And this is a very similar setup to the Sullivans. You've got the two doors there that we have. That was for ready service lockers. And that cart, which I can only imagine was for moving torpedoes. Now I come to the other side and look forward again, and here is their 5-inch practice loader. Right, so they have a practice loader on the starboard side. Again, it would have been in World War II, it would have been right in the middle along the center line, and that's why the quarterdeck during World War II for the Sullivans, the Kid, the Charette, the quarterdeck was on the stern. And then it was moved to midships when they rotated the 5-inch practice loader to the starboard side. And that's where it would be if we had ours at the Sullivans. That's where it would be, right there as you enter starboard side quarterdeck. Here's another image of it. And then looking up behind your left shoulder is their torpedo crane on the 01 level. So they still had the quintuple torpedo tubes, and you can see them right there, off to the right of the photograph. And then right below that also is now I'm back on port, is their 3-inch practice loader. So that's where this was located. There's, I believe, a couple pictures of that. All right, so there's their practice loader now on port. So on starboard, they have the 5-inch. On port, they have the 3-inch practice loader. So now I'm walking aft on port, and you come to this door. So on the Sullivans, this door leads to the enlisted crew head. All right, actually, we have that door on the left that leads into now what is our docent locker, which would have been a supply locker. And then in World War II was the upper handling room. So this is where that upper handling room is for Mount 53, say on the Kid. Of course, it's now been reconfigured. The nice carpet, you can see the nice brass hatch leading down below into the machinery spaces. And so I enter, I turn the corner. I'm expecting to see the enlisted head, but yet here I see now a large exhibit space. So this was obviously where the head was up until 1991, and then when it became a museum ship, obviously they converted the head and into this kind of entranceway and learning about the Velos. And this was actually where they did have a couple panels on the Kid, the Sullivans, and the Cass and Young as well. So here's another view of it, and I'm heading aft. So going back, looking through that door that you see in the distance, that's where the toilets would have been. This area here was for the showers and the sinks, right? And then heading aft, they have both of those doors that I've covered in another video where I talk about the reconfigured toilet space on the Sullivans. Ours are welded. Those were still remained open. So they may have still had their 1943, 1945 toilet configuration. Because for us, they converted the toilets and then they welded those two doors. But in the distance is where the toilets would have been. You come into a handling room, all right, just like on the Sullivans. That's for Mount 54. And then, boom, Tim and I have talked about this a lot. Cass and Young and I have talked about this a lot. Here's the double ladder. And so for the kid, they have a double ladder facing forward, which is to the right side of this photograph. But the Sullivans has this exact configuration. So there's my sister's feet, right? So I actually took her down forward. That would be into our engineering space, presumably also for the Velos. And they welded those two doors on that bulkhead right there because they added this aft-facing ladder that's in the foreground here. So as we travel down the aft-facing one that was in the foreground right there, you come into S division, or at least that's what it is on the Sullivans. And you can see they have bunks. They had a table. And then we walked up the ladder and then walked down the forward-facing ladder. And this is what we see. And if you say you've been on a curator tour, typically for the curator tours and the behind-the-scenes tours, I bring people down to this space as I talk about the sinking of the Sullivans and I show some degradation. So this also led in the far corner, the far left corner, leads to the Mark 56 gun plot computer space. But this was for about 60 enginemen, machinist mates. Moving forward from that, you've got their machine shop. And now this is a huge difference, and I was very keen on looking at this. Because for the Sullivans, if you see that lighted area right beyond the lathe, right, it actually looks like a little tiny portal or something. I don't know. Maybe it was a light or something. We actually cut a door into that space. And so when I'm giving tours, I say part of the reason of the sinking was because we created a tour route through the aft engine room, which is directly beyond this bulkhead. And so to make it easier for visitors, we cut a door right into this space. All right, but you can see that during service, there was no door there. And so I was glad to see that configuration. So I think we probably lost all of those drawers, but the rest of it looks very similar. Then we headed outside towards the stern, and I'm looking into the 5-inch gun mount, what we would call Mount 55. So we also have Mount 55 open on the tour route. And then leading to the stern. All right, so we on the port side have the ASW fish and winch. They don't have that here. And we also have the one depth charge rack that you can see here. All right, it was a rainy day in Thessaloniki that day. So when you check out the videos, you'll hear a little pitter-patter of rain. All right, so you have the deck hatch that we also have right in front of you, and what looks to be like a davit to haul supplies down and things like that, which we do not have on board the Sullivans. Here's a close-up of their depth charge rack. This could be good when we want to look at reconfiguring ours or bringing ours at the Sullivans. Back again, you have a boom right there that can swing out. Now, what's interesting here is I'm on starboard side, looking forward, obviously, and take a look at what we would call Mount 53. Or Mount 55. They actually call it Mount 54. So the nomenclature that we use is, even though they lost Mount 53 for the Sullivans and for the Velos, they just carried on the naming. So it's Mount 51, Mount 52, Mount 53, Mount 54. For the Sullivans, and I believe American nomenclature, is you just get rid of 53 altogether. So for the Sullivans, we have 51, 52, 54, and 55. But you can see very clearly that they name this. And this is a nice configuration. And it was important for me to get photos because this is what the Sullivans will look like. Going into an interpretive year of 1962, she did not have any Oerlikons. She did not have any K-guns. And so this is a nice representation of what the Sullivans will look like in the future as we move forward. And here's a shot from the port side as well, looking forward. And as you can see, just on the pier, you see that little blue box and maybe the shoulders and head of someone. So that's what it is. There is no welcome center. It's just a booth. You buy your tickets there. They give you a little lanyard to put around your neck stating that you're a visitor. In the most aft space down below, so going to this image, right down below that hatch, there's also a large berthing that the Sullivans has in Kidd and Cass and Young. That is actually where their gift shop is. So we had a nice conversation, and that's where I bought my T-shirt. But yes, no other individual building. Now I'm walking forward on starboard, and I come across these two ready service lockers that the Sullivans does not have. So I found that pretty interesting. But the signage is in Greek, so I'm not actually able to understand it. But it's got to be some sort of clipping space or landing force gear locker or something like that. So, but we at the Sullivans don't have this little build out here. Now, these are two separate images on the left and the right. I know it can be a little disorienting with the thing in the middle, but now I've moved forward past the 5-inch practice loader. Now I'm moving forward towards sick bay, and I found this pretty interesting. You got this space going, you got the hatch going down to the machinery spaces, and there is their you'll see the expansion joint, but they actually have hinges on the expansion joint, which I found pretty interesting because the Sullivans does not have that. So that maybe allows them some access. And there you see like a little lever to move up and down, maybe to give you access. All right. But we actually don't have those gold brass painted hinges. Now moving into their sick bay, they have it nicely exhibited, but interested in this midship passageway. So unlike the Kidd, which I've talked about when I went down in March, this is in the same configuration as ours. So because they had the 3-inch 50s, and they now have the Ampladine rooms. And so it was nice to see the passageway, which would have been open across the whole beam on the Kidd, and I believe on the Cass and Young, although I don't know. I'll have to talk to Buzz about that. Ours has a little jut in, a little angle, and then straight to the radio space, the battery locker, and the sick bay. So if you've come to the Sullivans, the Velos passageway looks identical. And now we're walking forward on starboard. Here's the large weather break with the door. And then you see the open door that would lead to the passageway to the captain's in-port cabin, the CIC, and the officer's wardroom. You could not visit any of those areas, but I was able to peek in, and same configuration as ours. All right, but for us on the Sullivans, we actually cut those doors out. And then you see the ladder leading up to the O1 level. All right, I took some photos of their 26-foot motor whaleboats. We have one ready to go for either starboard or port. So I just took an image and of what it looks like with them and what we would need to do. All right, now I'm near the bow. All right, looking at Mount 51, 52, and then there's the Mark 37 gun director. In this image, I was interested in seeing their antenna arrays. They do have the SPS 10 and the SPS 6 like us. They do have the radomes on the aft stack like the Sullivan's does. And so the antenna arrays and radar arrays, to my visual inspection, are identical to the Sullivans. Now, what we're looking at is two images of the galleries, the galley. So you come down port, peek your head in. Ours are configured a little bit differently. So I'd like to point out that in the upper image, right on the very right of the upper image, you'll see the ovens. Our ovens are much closer to the exit or to this door on port. They would be where that fryer is. So we do have the griddles that you can see, the black griddles there. Our ovens are on the other side of the griddles. And then right in the corner near the chain was a shelf. And what we do is we have, large cans of food stowed on there. And then looking in the right one, you're looking abeam to the starboard side. We do have the kettles like you see there. Our mixer is just to the right of the kettles, though, next to the sinks, as you can see. So a little bit different configuration for the galley. Here's two images right aft of that is the laundry. Same with the Sullivans. So two images of that. Now, what we're looking at here is they do have the hedgehogs just below the extended bridges, right where the Sullivans are. And for Buzz and the Cass and Young, they wanted some detailed images. So I went behind the actual hedgehog mounts and took a lot of photos. I'm showing one as an example. Because for ours, a lot of the electrical wiring and power supplies are gone. And they want to have some work done to theirs. So for the Cass and Young, I do have a lot of images for you showing the back of the mount itself. Now, this is a close-up. Again, you couldn't walk in there, but this is a close-up leading to the passageway right underneath the pilot house that shows what you can see here is the navigator's stateroom, and then around the corner to the left is Radio Central, all right, with two spaces and then a small crypto space, a classified space, and that's off to the left down that little passageway right there. And there you see on the right is the door leading to the navigator's space. So I just basically walked backwards because just like the Kid, they only have one ladder going up to the O2 level. Sullivan's has a second ladder in that space off to the left of the photograph where that dark area is. And so for some reason, we have two ladders. So I'm going to have to do a little research into that. Did we add the ladder again for tour route or was it added during service? So that is going to take more exploration. But this is the same configuration as the Kid. So I can only imagine that we, aftermarket, added a second ladder again for wayfinding and getting people up and down without much backup. or traffic jams. This was something major I wanted to see. I've been working again, as I've mentioned, with NAVC and the Obsolete Materials Division, trying to get the two 3-inch 50s back for the Sullivans for the midship. So where we have two twin Bofors, goodbye. When you look at these mounts, unbelievable. And so now this only steels me to continue to work with NAVC. It might take another year or so, but I want these mounts on the 01 level. So I took a bunch of pictures of these just to have when we can secure the two 3-inch 50s. And then along with the one that we have on the aft deckhouse superstructure, we will have now all three 3-inch 50s like we should. But amazing to see up close and to be able to walk around. Now, walking just after that, this is something that Lucas and I have done in our videos, is we talk about the torpedo director, which is mounted on the aft stack. Right? We do not have ours anymore. It was cut because we don't have the quintuple torpedoes. And when they added the Mark 32 ASW triple torpedo mount, you didn't need this director here. So we cut it out, and we did a video a month and a half ago or so and showing where the stanchions would have been placed and those welds after they cut out the support beams. Here is the quintuple, the aft-facing quintuple torpedo tube, which is between, so this is the Mark 15. It would have had the blast shield. They do not have that. So this is very similar to the kids. Also, though, what I wanted to show was in the lower right is the actual mount, because you can see the weld of where it's cut out on the Sullivans. And so I wanted to have a picture of what it kind of looked like and what it represented. So you can see the ring on the 01 level, but we don't have anything and it's flush to the deck. So now heading up to the pilot house, they actually have it painted almost like a light locker in black. But really what struck me was that beautiful teak decking. That would be pretty nice to get for the Sullivans or to have made. I don't know if it needs to be teak, but Douglas fir, something like that. So really nice pilot house area. Leading to the extended bridge forward. Again, she was a square bridge as the charrette, so same as all of our vessels. And here's the captain's chair, which I found interesting. So for the Sullivans, the captain's chair is on the bridge, the extended wings, right next to the pilot house, which is aft in this photo. You can see the portholes right there on the left. But here, the captain's chair is right in the extended bridge. Hey, you're still getting a great view. So, captain's choice, I take it. Now, then I look aft and I say, well, what is going on here? It looks like we have machinery from War of the Worlds or something. But this is the Mark 63 gun director for the 3-inch 50s. We have these two tubs, and we've talked about them because that is also where the ready service locker is. But we do not have these gun sights. And so if there was ever a way of securing them, at least we know what they should look like. So they still have their gun sights in their Mark 63 gun director tower midships. I believe the one on the lower right might be a Mark 14, and I'm just unfamiliar with the mark on the upper left photograph. But in the lower right, you can also see part of her tripod mast as well. All right, heading back down to the main deck. I took the picture on the left because you'll see there's a winch system forward in this photograph or in the distance. Ours on the Sullivans is right where I'm standing, where I'm taking the photograph. So you'll see the ladder leading up on port side to the O1 level. And our winch is more in line with our galley, which is kind of right where I'm standing. So here on the Velos, their winch is much more forward. And again, that's, you can see right above it is the davit and the port side watercraft. Heading aft from that, we actually have an aftermarket deck house that we built here, which I would like to have removed. But I found interesting that they have like a little workshop here, a little workbench. So that's something that I didn't know. You know, a vise right there, and a little tiny workbench that people can do repairs on. And then in the direct foreground, right in the right-hand side, is again the 3-inch practice loader, a little edge of it. So that's, again, unfortunately, I was not able to take video of the Velos as I was walking around. But does anyone have any questions? Please, you can leave a comment here, or if you watch this not live and you're watching it at a later time today or tomorrow, please leave comments down below in the video. If you have questions or comments now, I can take a comment or two. And thanks for checking in. It's appreciated. Does anyone have any comments about anything or questions? Okay. Well, thanks so much for checking in. I know it's kind of in the middle of the day for everybody, but appreciate you checking in. It's been a while since I've actually been at work, but starting Sunday, I will be back at work. So I have a lot of catching up to do, not only with YouTubes, but emails, phone calls, things like that. Thanks very much, everyone, for your continued support. It was a thrill to go visit the Velos, see some of those changes. I just wish I could have been able to document it on site, on video. There's more photos that I took, of course, but redundancy. I don't want to show you 12 pictures of the hedgehog. So thanks very much, and we will see you again soon.